All right, welcome to today's practice. So today I'm going to be working with my assistant, my lovely husband, Steve, whatever you want to call him, and he is going to be doing the practice. I'm going to be instructing. This way I can show you some helpful use of props and tips, and I won't get so winded trying to exercise, keep my balance, watch you guys, and instruct at the same time. All right, so Stevie, why don't you come to the front of your mat, feet touching or hip distance apart, big toes touching, whatever works best for you. And when you're ready, on an inhale, raise your hands up and exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a straight back and exhale, hands down, walk your feet back, come into a high plank, lower down to chaturanga, inhale to up dog, tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Breathing through. So we started right away in some sun salutations. I'm going to take this opportunity to have a little bit stronger practice so that if you are in that level of your own practice, you have an option besides some of the slower flows that I've recorded so far. And now glance to your hands, walk your feet forward. Inhale to a straight back. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, hands all the way up to the sky, and exhale, hands down to the side. All right, and again, inhale, bring your hands up, exhale, forward fold, inhale to a straight back, exhale, hands down, walk your feet back, high plank, chaturanga, inhale to up dog, tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Lengthening out, opening up through. Breathing in and out. So for those of you who like Ashtanga yoga, we always start with the sun salutations. And we're not necessarily doing an Ashtanga sequence right now, but I wanted to start with sun salutations so that we could build a little heat. Just get an opportunity to open up through the body by use of heat rather than starting in a seated position. So now, Stubby, glance to your hands, walk your feet forward, inhale to a straight back, exhale, forward fold, and inhale, hands to the ground, or all the way up. Thank you. Exhale, hands down to the side. All right, and again, we're going to do 5 of these to warm the body. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, hands down. Hop back or walk back now. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Tuck your toes under. Push into down dog. Lengthen out. And when you're in down dog on your sun salutations, try to hold those for about 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, gazing steady at the back wall. 4, 5. Glance your hands, hop forward or walk forward. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, hands down. And inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, hands to the side. All right, and again, inhale, hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, hands down, hop back or walk back. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Tuck your toes under, push into down dog. And make sure here that you're spreading all 5 fingers apart, really getting a good foundation there, and really distributing that weight evenly, not just in the base of the palm, but also in the fingertips. 60% should be distributed in those fingertips. Breathing through. Gazing steady at the back wall. Relaxing in. I can feel heat already building. That's great. That's what sun salutations are good for. And now glance to your hands, walk forward or hop forward. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, hands all the way up to the sky. And exhale, hands down to the side. All right, again. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, hands down, hop back or walk back. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Tuck your toes under, push into down dog. All right, we're starting to build heat. So from here, I want you to come into a side plank. Now, I'm going to have him show you 2 different variations, actually 3 different variations. So the first one, I want you to come into a supported side plank on your right side. So right knee's going to be down, that left foot's perpendicular to the right foot, left arm comes up to the ceiling, and then trying to keep these arms in a nice straight line here. I'm going to provide this support for him, breathing through, and now gaze up at that top hand. Breathing in and out. And his balance is challenged once he gazes up, and that's fine. And now slowly bring that hand down, push back to downward facing dog. Nice and slow, Breathing through. And now let's do the left side. So go ahead, left knee down, lining that knee and that hand up, foot perpendicular, right arm up. Breathing through. And if you can, without my support, gaze up at that top hand. Breathing through. So there's value in having that knee down. This is a good stretch through the side of the body here. And now go ahead, bring that hand down, push back to downward facing dog. All right, so the next version of side plank that we're going to do is I want you to go ahead, bring your knees down, and I want you to come into a side plank on your forearm. So we're going to do the right side first, so forearm's going to be down, and then he's going to stack his feet through. Now, first bring that left hand to your waist. So this is one way of holding this pose. Now I want you to bring that left arm up towards the sky. This challenges your balance, and now I want you to bring it towards the front. And this gives a deeper stretch through that side. So if your arm or wrist or something is bothering you and you're trying to do a side plank in a practice, this is one variation. All right, now go ahead, come back around, hands down, knees down, push back to downward dog. And now let's do the other side. So go ahead, bring yourself into position, down to your forearm, stacking through, hand up, and then reaching towards the front of the room. Breathing in and out. Nice job. And now go ahead, bring that hand down, push back to downward facing dog. And then I'm going to have one more variation. There's lots of variations actually. So now what I want you to do is I want you to bring your knees down. So we'll get set up first. And I want you to line your right knee up with that right hand to begin with, kind of like you're coming into a side or a supported side plank. So go ahead, shift so your left foot is up. Yep, there you go. And now stack them through, perfect. And now I want you to take that left foot and I want you to bring that in so that the foot is flat. There you go. And now feel that opening through the side of the hip. Can you feel that? Mm-hmm. This is a good stretch. This variation is a good stretch right here. And heck, we'll do 4 variations. So go ahead, bring that hand down, push back to downward facing dog. And now do the other side to bring that balance in. So line yourself up and stacking through, perfect. Bring that right foot, arm up. So if you have tight IT band, this can really help open that up. And I know he does. He definitely has tight IT bands. All right, bring the right hand down, push back to downward facing dog. And last version is full side plank. And I know he's cursing me right now for all these side planks, so definitely thank him for being a great guinea pig. Breathing through. And now bring that hand towards the front. So when you're in this side plank, notice how he has this beautiful straight line here. That's awesome. It's a good stretch through the side. And now go ahead, bring that hand down, push back to downward facing dog, and now the other side. Good job. And then bring it towards that side of your mat. Perfect. Breathing through just a moment more. And then bring that hand down, push back to downward facing dog. And now we'll take a moment in downward facing dog just to kind of relax. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to press against his lower back and just push him a little deeper into downward facing dog. Just to give him a little break on his hands. I know that I'm really working his wrists here, and his wrists sometimes are a little tight and a little challenged. And then releasing. And now glance your hands and walk your feet forward. Inhale to a straight back. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, hands all the way up to the sky. And exhale, hands down to the side. All right, nice work. All right, so now we'll move into some sun salutation Bs with some variation. So go ahead, come into Utkatasana. Breathing through. And again, I mentioned in the videos that I do that Utkatasana, you can either try to bring your arms up a little bit. See, he doesn't have as much arch in his back. So in his Utkatasana, what I would encourage is for him to bring his knees back a bit, sink those hips down. So I'm going to stand right here. So see if you can sink your hips down to mine. A little bit, yeah. That's where we're at. That's all right. So just allow yourself, what you don't want is those knees to be protruding way past those front toes. So keeping them at least in line or maybe pulling them back a little bit more, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, twist straight back. Exhale, hands down, hop back or walk back. Chaturanga, inhale to up dog, tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Now bring your right leg forward and pivot the left foot, come into warrior one. And exhale, hands down, walk that foot back, chaturanga, inhale to up dog, tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Left leg forward, pivot the right foot, rise up, warrior one. And exhale, hands down, walk that leg back, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Breathing through here. Gazing steady at your knees. And now glance into your hands, walk your feet forward or hop forward. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, hands all the way up to Utkatasana. Good job. And exhale, rise up to standing, hands to the side. Beautiful. All right, so in between poses, I want you to come into mountain pose, a nice tall pose, posture. There you go, good job. See how that changed when he came into mountain pose? His back came back a little bit, his head was lifted. Tickling. But see the difference from before where he was sort of slumped forward, so do it how you came into it before. So see that slump? So just be mindful, and this is how yoga applies to real life. When you're just standing there, see if you can notice. Are you slumping forward? Can you pull yourself back? All right, now come into Utkatasana. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, hands down, hop back or walk back. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Right leg forward, pivot the left foot. Rise up, warrior one. Beautiful. Exhale, hands down, walk that leg back. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Left leg forward, pivot the right foot. Rise up, warrior one. Sink a little more into that knee. There you go. And exhale, hands down, walk that leg back. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Breathing through. And remember, when you're practicing the sun salutations, the goal is to connect the breath with the movement. So my instructions are working with his breath. But if they weren't, you would maybe want to alter your movement through. So if you're listening to this video and watching it, perhaps you take a little different pause, or if your inhales are a little longer or your exhales are a little longer. That's okay. We meet up in downward dog. And now glance to your hands, hop forward or walk forward. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale to Utkatasana, nice and tall. There you go. And exhale, come to standing. Hands to the side. Now adjust, mountain pose. There you go. Build that into your habit. All right, again, Utkatasana. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, hands down, hop back or walk back. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Breathing through. Nice work. Right leg comes forward, pivot the left foot. Rise up, warrior one. Exhale, hands down, walk that leg back. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Left leg comes forward, pivot the right foot, rise up, warrior one. Bend a little more at that front knee. And exhale, hands down, walk that leg back. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Breathing in and out. So we've done 3 so far, and he's definitely built up a lot of heat here. You can see he's sweating, and he's getting a little tired, so we want to pause in downward dog to give ourselves a chance to reset that breath. And now glance your hands, hop forward or walk forward. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale to Utkatasana. And exhale, rise up to standing, hands to the side. All right, so now we're going to add a little variation in. So the purpose of this video is to show you how to have a good, strong practice in a short amount of time. You don't necessarily need a full hour. So let's come back into Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a straight back. Exhale, hands down, hop back or walk back. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Bring your right leg forward and come into a runner's lunge. So now I'm going to show you a couple variations here. So he's got his fingertips down, and he has a long shin bone. So it actually would benefit him to extend his arms, or think of it as bringing the floor closer to you by bringing in some blocks. And so in this pose, I want you to sink your hips down a little bit more and perfect. See what he just did? I was going to instruct him to do. In sinking those down, his knee was about to come past the toes. So he walked his toes forward and extended into that pose a little bit more. Now gaze up in front of you, breathing through. And now take that left hand onto the block. Maybe bring it closer if you need. And you're going to lift your right arm up to the ceiling. So he chose to bring it down to the floor, which is fine. Breathing through. And then in that, I want you to try to line those arms up. So that this requires a little more twist in his back than he has right now. One option would be to use that block. So let's demonstrate with the block and then bring that arm up. And that, see, he's got much more twist there. And now bring that hand down, remove the block, both hands down, bring that foot back, come into high plank, chaturanga, inhale to up dog, tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Now let's bring the left leg forward and repeat on this side. Oh, that was loud. So we're going to come into our runner's lunge. I'm going to let him take a moment to set himself up. So I want you to sink your hips a little bit more. Gaze steady in front of you. There we go. Nice. Getting a good stretch here. So where are you feeling it?
You're in the hip.
In the hip. All right. And everybody's going to feel this a little bit different. When I practice, I feel this particular pose mostly in this extended leg in the quad. And now let's twist. So that right hand is going to be down or on a block. Left arm comes up. We'll just see if we can pull this a little more. And that's where it stops. And that's okay. The deepest practice in yoga is accepting where you're at that day. And now bring that hand down. Remove the block. Walk that foot back. High plank. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, tuck your toes under, push into down dog. Perfect. All right, from here I want you to bring the right leg forward again. Rise up now to crescent lunge. So notice his heel is lifted on that back foot. So crescent lunge or, warrior one lunge, I've heard it referred to as, is a nice way of working on your balance and building strength. So a couple options he has here. So his palms are already together. Sometimes people, remove your palms for a moment. Sometimes people will come into it like this, and that is fine. An option to make it more challenging, and you can tell he practices Ashtanga because he brought his palms together. And then to gaze up at the thumbs there. And then another way is to bend at that back knee and lower it a little closer to the ground, and then continue to lean back a bit. So there, we just made it quite a bit more challenging. He had to adjust, his balance was affected. And now slowly bring your hands down and walk that foot back. Come into a high plank, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, tuck your toes under, push into down dog. All right, let's do the other side. So left leg comes forward, come into crescent lunge. And one of the important things to remember in crescent lunge is to create a good, strong foundation under that front leg, that bent knee. Now, you can tell which side is a little stronger. There's less bend in this knee for him than the other side. So go ahead, sink your hips a little bit more. So that makes it a little more challenging. And now let's rise up a little bit. There you go. And now bend this back knee. Or you're already doing it. He was already there. Breathing through, gaze up at the thumbs. This is his less confident side. It may not be as apparent for you watching, but you'll feel it in your own body. We all have a dominant side, one side that feels stronger. And now bring your hands down. Walk that foot back, high plank, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, tuck your toes under, push into down dog. And pause here for a moment. Think of down dog as a resting spot. When Stubby started practicing yoga with me, he hated downward dog. And every time I told him it was a resting pose, he definitely disagreed with that. So now I know he feels differently. I know it's an opportunity for him to rest. And sometimes I use that as a measure in a person's practice. If there's a particular pose like downward dog that you see so many people easily accessing, and then you can't get into that, or it's really challenging for you, just notice how your body evolves as you practice more. Does it start to become more accessible? Does it start to become more of that home base like I referred to? And now we're going to do a warrior sequence. I want you to bring your right leg forward, pivot that left foot, rise up to warrior one. And now sink it into that front. And in our warrior ones, I like people to shift, and these are nice and shifted for him. His shoulders are nice and square. Gaze up at the thumb, breathing through. Beautiful. And now open to warrior two. So you can tell he practices, he was taking the proper adjustments. So the thing about warrior two is we want to make sure that outside edge of that back foot is pressing into the ground. I've heard of some teachers that will say they don't even want like a piece of paper to be able to slide under there. The shoulders are lifted, perfect at shoulder height. He's gazing at the front middle finger. This front knee is bent and it's open to the pinky toe. That's what we want. And now come into reverse warrior. So he's bringing his left hand down, right hand up. Beautiful. Come back to warrior two. And now come into extended side angle. So show the version with your elbow in first. Arm extends. So this is one variation. So this is a nice one if you need a little extra support there. Now show with your hand to the outside. This is another version. So it's a little bit more challenging. And if you can, as you're in this version, try to open that chest and belly up. There you go. And now bring that bottom hand to reach towards that top hand. He was going to show you another variation, but we're just going to stop there. And then rise back up to warrior two. Okay, beautiful. Now I want you to come back to warrior one. Good job, and he adjusted his feet accordingly. And now rise into warrior three. So here he's taking a little bit of extra support there, and his front foot is a bit wobbly. So when we come into warrior three, really take the time to ground into that stable standing leg. And try to straighten that front leg a little bit more. There you go. And that becomes a little more challenging. So right now his hands are at heart center because that's probably helping his balance. But if he wants to challenge himself, he can bring those arms out in front. Good job. Now bring your hands to the ground. And I knew he was going to do this. He's going to hop back and accommodate for himself. But what I wanted to have him do is allow himself to use the blocks. So this is another spot that blocks can come in handy. Think of blocks, again, as bringing the floor closer to you. And now lift that back leg up. And let your head relax. There you go. Now lift the back leg up. And now slowly lower that back foot down and walk the other leg back. Move your blocks to the side. Come into a high plank. Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Tuck your toes under, push in down dog. He's really sweating. You have to wipe his face on the mat. Now let's do the other side. So left leg comes forward. Rise up, warrior one. Bend a little more at that front knee. And move into warrior two. So he takes the time to adjust his feet. That's perfect. Gazing at that front middle finger, wonderful. It looks great. He definitely has good form here. So now let's bring your right hand down, left hand up. So this reverse warrior. Come back to warrior two. Extended side angle. First, come in, elbow in, arm extends forward. And now I want you to demonstrate, because it's easier to see on this side, bringing that hand out to the block. So this is another way of coming into this posture. Now, one reason I like a block here is because he does have a long shin bone. And so that makes it, so it's a long ways to get down to the ground. And it doesn't change or the pose or make it less challenging or make it less valuable if he pulls in that support. So be open to pulling that support in when you need. Now bring that lower hand up, reach it towards the top. This just challenges the pose a little bit, and then rise up to warrior two. He's working so hard. Now I'm going to move this out of the way. And when you're ready, come into warrior one. He adjusted his feet, perfect. And then from here, come into warrior three. Breathing through it. And this is his weaker leg, so this is going to be a little more challenging for him. And one of the things he wants to do is his toes want to crunch up. I want to encourage you to spread your toes apart. That's going to give you more stability in this pose. And here he's found his balance, so he's extending his arms out. And now bring your hands down. He's got the blocks. You remembered, lift that leg up. Let your head relax as you do so. Now you can see he's got less confidence on this leg because this leg wants to drop down a little bit. It's not nearly as lifted as the other side. And now go ahead, lower that foot down, remove your hands from the block, and walk that left leg back. High plank, chaturanga, inhale to up dog. Tuck your toes under, push into down dog. And pause here for a moment. And now glance your hands, walk your feet forward or hop forward. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, hands into Utkatasana. And exhale, rise up to standing, hands to the side. All right, perfect. All right, so we're going to do a couple of standing poses, then I'm going to bring them down to the mat and close out the practice. Because again, this was meant to be a short, easy way to get a really strong practice in. The gist of it is if you pull in mostly sun salutations and add a little variation, you're going to build heat really well and you're going to get all aspects of that practice. So I want you to take your feet wide on the mat, one full leg distance apart. Now bring your arms out to T, turn your right toes to point towards the side, and now hinging at that right hip, bring that right hand down and lift that left arm up. So here's where we're going to pull in some support. So I'm going to let him use a block here. Now that block can be on the inside, or sometimes people have found it to be helpful on the outside. You got to feel what feels best for your body. I think he wants it on the inside. And now in this triangle pose, if you have to lose the integrity of the pose to get deeper, then bring your arm up a little bit. But what I want is for this belly and chest to lift towards the ceiling. And then I want these arms to be in line with each other. It's beautiful. And now if you want to extend the stretch, you can bring that arm, reach it towards the other side of the room. And now rise all the way up. Keep your arms out to T, and maybe grab that block. Turn those toes in, and now the other toes out, perfect. And now come into triangle on this side. Now this side's much more challenging for him. So I might even encourage, all right, why don't you rise back up? And now this time, when you come into triangle, I want you to bring your hand just to rest on your thigh or your shin or your knee. Wherever you're comfortable. There you go. See what a difference this is. So this is just differences in our body. I realize standing behind you can't see as well, but this is much more in alignment. And one way that you can keep yourself in alignment here is try to line your arms up. Have that top hand be in line with that bottom hand, a nice straight line. And if you feel this part of your body moving in, then shift it, open it up a little bit more. And so for him, he needs a little less, and he's even slipping down. I would encourage him to bring that arm up a little bit. There we go. What a difference that makes. And now rise all the way back up. And then keep your arms out to T, turn that foot in, and now bring your hands to your waist. You can put the block down. He's ready for that block. All right, now we're going to do a wide-legged forward fold. So bring your arms out to T again. And then bring them to your waist. And forward fold. Perfect. He inhaled and leaned back first. He's a good practitioner. Now release your hands from your waist, bring them down to the ground. And now he's adjusting here. I can tell he's widening his legs up to bring his hands flat. Now that's fine. Another option is to bring the floor to you. So bring your blocks in. And now what I want him to do here is bend at your elbows and bring your head closer and allow your neck to relax. He has a hard time relaxing that neck. So press down, bend your elbows more. There you go. That brings him a little bit deeper. And now release, inhale to a straight back, look forward. And then exhale, bring your hands to your waist. And now on an inhale, rise all the way back up. And now we're going to do another wide-legged forward fold. So I want you to bring your arms out to T this time. Inhale back and exhale forward fold. And this time I want you to grab your ankles or your shin. So now here, this is a pose and I'm having him do it so you can see that you can gain benefit even if your hands can't reach your toes. So typically in this pose, they'll be instructed to take your peace fingers and grab the big toe. And then you're supposed to bend at your elbows. So bending your elbows out and pulling yourself closer down. And that's just deepening that stretch a little bit. Are you feeling it in your hamstrings?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And now go ahead, relax your arms, inhale to a straight back, gazing forward. Exhale, bring your hands to your waist. And inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, relax. And now bring your feet together. All right, so we usually do tree pose for our balance pose, but today I'm actually going to have him do our Ashtanga balance pose. So I'm going to show you two variations. So I want you to bring your knee into your chest, lifting that up, holding with your right hand. Left hand is holding at his waist. Perfect. And now open that to the right side. Beautiful. I sometimes call this the Captain Morgan pose. And then come back to center. And now from here, extend your leg out. Breathing through. And we want to try not to shift as we extend that leg out. This is a good one. Just bring your leg up on a couch or something. Get a good stretch. This is a great stretch. Also, it's challenging. It takes a lot of strength, but it's a good stretch. And now bring your foot to the ground. Now let's do the other side. So knee in. Left knee in, and then open to the left side. It's all right. Breathing through, and notice how his eyes had focused on a spot on the floor. That was helping him with his balance. That can be part of your practice too. Maybe what you work on is getting your gaze to be out in front of you. Maybe it's just down your nose. And then come back to center. Bring your hands to your waist, extend that leg out. And now as a teacher, I might come and say, all right, let's lift this up a little bit more. Make it work a little harder. And now slowly release it down. All right. So the other variation, I'm going to give him a break. I'm going to have him step to the side for just a moment. Give him a break here. The other variation is to bring your leg out in front, grab a hold of your big toes. Left hand is going to be on your waist, and then you can bring that leg out to the side. So this is another variation. You can bring it back, and obviously hold for 5 breaths. Bring it back, and then hold that foot out, pointing your toes. So that's one variation. To balance it out, I'll do the other side. Bringing that leg up, grabbing my toes. And then a lot of times in Ashtanga, we'll have people tuck in, bringing that chin closer to the knee, and then raise it back up. That adds a whole nother level of challenge. And then bringing it out to the side, keeping your body nice and calm. And you might even turn your head to that other shoulder. And then bring yours back in front. Again, holding for 5 breaths if you can. And then pointing that leg out. All right, so those are the two variations. All right, he got his break. Come back to the mat. And let's work on coming down to the floor. So come to the front of your mat. Inhale, bring your hands up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, straight back. Exhale, hands down. Hop back or walk back, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Tuck your toes under, push into down dog. And now let's come into pigeon pose. So bring your right knee in to your right wrist. Walk that left foot back. Now before you fold forward, I want to show some variation. So where he's at, he's in a good, comfortable position. His hips are squared to the mat. One thing we can do is we can take this block, and I'm going to put it in under this thigh. So lift up a little bit. So bring that down. And now when that block is there, does that allow that foot, that right foot, to come a little more forward?
Mm-hmm.
So that allows a little bit different stretch. And now you can fold down. The thing about pigeon, just avoid shifting all your weight to one side. I know he loves pigeon, which is why I chose to include it in this demonstration. It's one of his favorite poses. But a challenge can be if people have bad knees, or if in order to come into the pose in any way, shape, or form, they have to shift all their weight. And now go ahead, bring your hands down, lift up, tuck those left toes under, lift up into downward facing dog, bring that foot back. All right, I'm gonna move this block. Let's come into it on the other side. So left knee comes up, bring that knee in towards your left wrist. We're gonna bring this block under. So lift up a little bit, there you go. Now he's got that block there. See if you can bring that ankle a little more forward. Maybe not on this side. And then go ahead, lower down and relax your toes. And one side of our body is always going to be a little more open than the other, and that's fine. It's the way it is. Sometimes we might have a leg that's longer. Sometimes we might have some challenges in some tightness, injury, whatever it might be. So just learning to listen to your body and bringing awareness in, that's part of yoga. It's bringing an understanding, bringing you into the present moment. Finding how to balance different movements in yoga helps to balance them during the day in your regular life, and that can help reduce some of these one-sided tendencies or strengths on only one side. And now bring your hands down, lift your head up, tuck those toes under, come into downward facing dog. And I'll move the block for him all the way. All right, now go ahead, bring your knees flat to the mat, or down to the mat, scoot around to your bottom, seated on the mat. And now, as we wrap up our practice, I'm going to have him lower to the ground in boat pose. So I'm going to have you come into a version that works for you. And now boat can be whatever. And he's choosing to extend his legs out. See if you can lift your chest a little bit more. Whenever you lift your chest more in boat, it becomes a little more challenging. But he has a strong core. Now lower to half boat. Beautiful. And now lower all the way down. Bring your knees into your chest, rock side to side. I didn't make him stay in it very long. Massage out the lower back. I mean, we could keep practicing all day, to be honest. And I'm trying to keep this into a shorter class sequence for you, something you can do under an hour's amount of time. Now bring your feet flat to the mat, hip distance, and now let's get ready for bridge or full wheel. So I'm going to let him decide what he wants to do here. Bridge is going to be palms flat. Full wheel is hands are going to be up by his head. So when you're ready, lift up. Breathing through. Oh, if you're slipping, come down. So what happens when you get really sweaty? There we go. And I'm letting him do this because he's come a long way with his full wheel. So this has been something he's been working on. So I really wanted the opportunity for him to do this here. Now go ahead, lower down. And now bring your arms alongside. Now I want you to do regular. Oh, he just lowered down into regular bridge. Look at that. Perfect transition. So I could demonstrate and show both. And now go ahead, lower your hips down. Bring your knees into your chest, rock side to side. And now I'm going to have him roll up into shoulder stand. So when you're ready, go ahead, supporting that lower back, rolling up, and try to get your legs nice and straight. So what he's doing is just fine. We all have a tendency to have a little bend, but if you want to make shoulder stand a little more challenging for yourself, you want to try to bring those legs nice and tall. Point your toes towards the ceiling. Just getting that nice restorative pose. Then you can do all kinds of things here. You can move your ankles around. You can flex your toes, open your, toes up, spreading them apart. You can point your toes towards you. There's all kinds of things you can do. Just make it your own, make your own restorative pose as well. Now bring your knees in towards your chest and extend out to plow. So plow is another pose Stubby is working on. So right now his toes do not touch the ground. I usually don't encourage you to release your hands from your lower back unless your toes are touching the ground. So Stubby, bring your hands back to your lower back. As soon as his toes touch the ground, then I want him to release. But I want to make sure he's supported, so I want him to gain the benefits of plow, but not put himself in any danger. And now begin to lower your back down. So to lower his back down, he is going to move his hands, and he's going to work one vertebrae at a time. trying to bring nice rhythm, trying to bring some control with that core. And like I said, he has a really strong core, so this wasn't too challenging for him. Now he brings it back to L. Now from here, people can choose to continue to work their core by slowly lowering down, or you can just bring it straight to Shavasana. I'm just gonna let him decide. Breathing in and out. Staying steady with that breath also. We have a tendency to change our breathing patterns when we get our heart rate going, when we start getting challenged, especially if we have to work our muscles. I know personally when I'm in this pose and I'm trying to lower my feet down, everything starts to shake and I want to hold my breath until it's done. But we actually want to continue to breathe through it. And he's doing a wonderful job. This is great, awesome. Breathing through. And then he'll come into Shavasana, relaxing, palms up, quieting that mind. And as he begins to settle into Shavasana, a couple things that I will say. This particular practice, can be shortened or extended in whatever way. So if you have more time, do more sun salutations. If you have less time, do less sun salutations. Maybe you just do a few normal sun Bs and you don't add any variation in. It's a few poses that can be strung together in an easy way without having to have a teacher instruct. Just throw in the sun salutations and add the variations. So now I'm going to allow him to stay here in Shavasana for as long as he wants. If you're practicing at home, hit the pause button, turn the volume down, and enjoy your Shavasana. Thank you so much for your practice, and namaste.